62-year-old David Kemboi sorts out dry maize stalk on his 21-hectare farm in Kenya's Trans Nzoia County. He turns the stalks of what could have been a bountiful harvest into silage for feeding his 15 herd of cattle. He says the heavy rains that have rocked different parts of Eastern Africa caused a disappointing crop.
At the time of growing crops, we expected an optimum yield, like we had invested heavily in all the crops that we grew. But unfortunately, we were not able to get a good harvest out of all that, which means a lot of money was just thrown into the docks. Went, and we didn't get anything out of that. And we do not expect to get anything elsewhere other than from this land. And because we depend on rain-fed agriculture.
Millions of people have been displaced as a result of widespread flooding this year across large parts of Somalia, Kenya, Uganda, South Sudan and Ethiopia. The floods have led to hundreds of deaths. In November, South Sudan declared a state of emergency in 27 affected areas, with close to 1 million people affected. The Kenya Meteorological Department attributes the rain to an irregularity known as Indian Ocean Dipole, an oscillation of surface temperature of the sea, which brings weather extremes to countries neighboring the Indian Ocean. Bernard Chanzu is the Deputy Director of Kenya's Meteorological Services. He says nearly all of Kenya has received above average rainfall this year.
In some stations, I can quote like Meru stations, we have seen records which are showing that what has been received is more than 200% of the long-term average. That is what is usually received in the area.
Levels of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere climbing to new heights. Dr. John Recha, a scientist specializing in climate and agriculture research, says Africans can expect more extremes in years to come.
We will therefore have more effects of climate change affecting the weather patterns, specifically the rainfall patterns. The climate change will be more intense, and therefore the climate variability that is having these extreme events and of the drought and the floods will be more frequent and even more intense going into the future. So that means it will affect different sectors in different ways, right from the health sector, agriculture, energy.
The solution for Kemboi and other farmers, according to experts like Recha, lies in adapting to climate change. That, he says, would require help from governments and agencies to implement new agricultural practices such as alternative irrigation methods and efficient water storage for farmers. Rai Lombor for VOA News, Trans Nzoia, Kenya.